Why are you swapping Dave for Zappacosta in the 80-something minute, 82nd minute or something? Hello everyone and welcome to CFC Fan TV. It is so wonderful to see you all despite our, lack of results, I would say, in the past couple of weeks. But listen, I have been away for a while. I have been in Vegas, so I did do a little video from there, just reacting to my Sorry Out video, which you all actually were quite nice about in the end, which was very, very good. But I've decided, whilst I was away, that I'm going to take a sort of I'm just going to say what I think approach, because I think when you try to just keep everybody happy, it doesn't work. And although there was a major outrage from my video, I just spoke my mind and what I felt. And in the end, actually, I think that worked, because that is just what I thought, and what I thought has been proven to an extent. So, listen, I'm going to go through, for me, what I think is probably important to do, which is a proper review of the United game, because the FA Cup to me is very important. I think we've got a fantastic run in that competition. We've won the trophy so many times, and it's a bit of a shame that we go out whilst we're playing in such a, lazy way, I guess you could say. So I'm going to go through the 5 things that I thought went wrong against United in the FA Cup, and that ultimately why it resulted in us not going through. But what I will say is I am really happy to see all of you. So I know this is a bit of a sad video, but it is lovely to be back. So here we go. Point 1 for me is going to be Alonso. It really weren't his best game, was he? And I'm not saying it was anybody's best game, but his defending was terrible, especially, I would say, for the first goal. If you look back at it, I don't really know what he's doing, whether he's fully at fault or not. But I thought his passing was terrible, prior and after that. He lost the ball. I thought just his overall play wasn't good. And I know me and Rory praise him a lot on this channel. And I don't like a lot of the criticism he gets, because I think he offers a lot that other defenders don't do. And whilst it's not important to score goals as a defender, he does offer some good. So I don't want to completely bash him, but it wasn't a good game from him, which actually leads me on to point 2, which is our entire defence. I thought our defending was awful. I don't know what you all thought of Kepa's performance, so please comment below and let me know if you think he could have prevented any of those goals. So I'm not sure where Dave is looking, but he's obviously trying to prevent Pogba from getting the ball. But at the same time, that should be our central defender's job, and he obviously may not trust them to do a good enough job, and the goal goes in. And to be honest, I just thought it was an absolute shambles, really. And every single time United got the ball, because don't forget, I was watching this in America, every time, and sometimes for me, I actually prefer to watch it on television because I can see more clearly what's going on. And for me, the defence looked all over the place. They didn't really know what they were doing. Didn't look like Dave trusted the other defenders. I don't think David Luiz had a good game. I don't think any of them had a good game. I thought it was just an absolute shambles from the back from start to finish. And I think when you can see 2 goals in that sort of way, it's quite clear it was way too easy for United, and they knew that anyway. Point 3 then is going to be just a lack of team spirit. I think they didn't look like they were up for the game. They didn't look like they wanted to play for the manager. They didn't look like they were playing in a knockout stage of a cup. So, to me, I mean, I have some United friends in America, and they were worried they weren't going to win. They said they've got this player out, and I said it doesn't matter how many players you've got out. I said the players that are on the pitch for Chelsea at the moment aren't really performing very well at all. It doesn't look like it looks like they've lost all their, what's the word, Sammy, energy, or just like passion for the game at the moment. And whoever you decide that's down to, whether it's down to them or the manager, we didn't look like that we were contenders for this cup in this game. And unfortunately, that's why we went out. And I'm going to get on to my other points in a minute, so I don't want to ruin them. But just a bit of a shame, I think, for all the fans going at the moment. We don't want to see that. And it's one thing to come over and clap and say sorry, or against City or whoever. But realistically, you need to be putting in a better performance than that, because the players that I've seen on the pitch against United have done a far better job before. So to me, it's not down to lack of talent at all. It's all in their mindset. Point 4, and I'm sure a point that annoys a lot of you guys, is the substitutions that were made. Why are you swapping Dave for Zappacosta in the 80-something minute, 82nd minute or something? What was that? I'm very confused as to what that is. I'm very tired already. I don't really know what he's doing there. I don't know how that's going to make a difference. Bartley and Kovacic, yeah, you rotate those 2 all the time. But I mean, if our striker isn't done, we've got two fantastic players on the bench. No, sorry, we've got one fantastic player on the bench, which I would 100% have included in this game, and that's Hudson-Odoi. He's obviously eager to play. He obviously wants to play for us. So I'm very, very confused to why he wouldn't exactly get a bit of a starting lineup there. And yes, okay, fine. He handed in. He wants. We've found out that long term he wants to leave Chelsea, but that's only because he's not getting any game time. And how can you blame him when he looks at what's happening on the pitch at the moment, which is us losing 2-0 with all our best players, and he is probably one of the only decent ones that I saw in the Arsenal game. He's probably one of the only decent ones I saw in quite a few other games where not just because of his talent, but because he actually wants to win games. He wants to perform well. So why wouldn't you, in one of your substitutions, make that instead of Willian and Pedro and all this other rubbish, which isn't working, which he knows isn't working, and we've seen it not work throughout the season. So his substitutions for me were extremely bizarre. Some of them way too late on. Say no more. And point 5, last but not least, is that we don't really have a plan B. Now, for me, this plan B situation is a little bit tricky. I don't think it's a plan B exception in the fact that we, in previous seasons, haven't had good enough players on the bench. For me, this is a case of Sarri's system not having a plan B, if that makes any sense to anyone. I'm sure you're going to troll me a little bit for my words there. But he doesn't I mean, for me, if you're looking at a game where you haven't scored any goals, somebody up front hasn't, Higuain hasn't scored any goals, you would then either switch something up by bringing on Giroud, who I don't think is the most amazing player in the world. I'm not saying he is, but he's another option, and he hasn't been given enough game time, not nearly enough anyway, when Morata was here, to prove himself. Or you bring on Hudson-Odoi to put a bit of sparkle into the game, and he hasn't really done that. So I don't see his system obviously involves a set few players, and he's not keen on using some other very good players, especially our youngsters, who to me would have done a far better job in that game. Even though it is such a huge game and it's a knockout stage and whatever else. So yeah, his system doesn't really have a plan B, and when your system also's plan A isn't working, I don't really know what to say other than it doesn't work. It doesn't work, sorry, I'm afraid. So, you can shout at me all you want, guys. Nothing is working here, and we lost terribly, and there was nothing good about that performance at all on Sunday. And like I said before, I feel sorry for all of us fans. Why do we want to go and watch that sort of football in like day in, day out? Why do we want to go? And, for me, I want the manager to prove me wrong. I want him to come up with something that he does different. I always remember at Wembley when Antonio Conte didn't start Eden Hazard or Diego Costa against Tottenham that time, if you guys remember. We went on to win that game because he brought them on when Tottenham were absolutely exhausted. And it was a fantastic day out. And that's when I love managers to prove me wrong. When I see the team sheet and I think, what the on earth's that? But then he makes it happen. He makes the win happen. Sarri's not doing that in his plan A. He's not doing that in his plan B. So unfortunately, for those of you defending him, you need to give me a reason as to why I should agree with you, because I'm all up for hearing it. And I saw a comment actually on YouTube earlier on my review, saying that Sophie has never backed managers. She just wants them out. I don't know what on earth you're talking about, because I've never ever done that. With Jose Mourinho, I put out a video saying how awful I thought it was when he got sacked. I supported him till the end. I supported Antonio Conte for I don't know how long. I didn't want Di Matteo to go. I didn't want any of these managers to go. But I'm now seeing the same thing that's happened with all three of those, 4, 5, however many managers in the first 6 months of this manager's career, and I'm calling it out and saying to you, it's the same situation. Why not just start the process now and get somebody else in? And my next video, which you'll see now, will be who I think, who Sky and everybody else that are reporting that is more likely to come in. So yeah, that was my point 5, dragged on for a little bit. But yeah, I'm not happy about that one. So there you have it. Those are the 5 things that I think went wrong against United in the FA Cup. Comment below. I'm so sorry I have to do these videos at the moment. They're not the nicest videos. I don't enjoy coming into work and having to talk negatively about our team. I always want us to have, good things to talk about, really. But at the moment, we're not seeing good performances, and I think for all of us fans, it's just very, very disheartening. So comment below, let me know your thoughts, and apologies for my little rant at the end there.